Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over how to install this auto present door handles from Pimp My EV. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm just gonna jump right into it today. As some of you might know, about a year ago I installed the auto present door on my Tesla Model 3, and today Pimp My EV had sent me another kit for my wife's car. So I'm gonna be installing this auto present door handles on the Model Y. This is a 2020 Tesla Model Y. The big difference about this auto present door kit is that this one communicate to the main controller through Bluetooth, so which means the installation is going to be a lot easier, because the main thing that took a lot of time on the previous install was to go from door. You got to run another wire through the little sleeve that attached to the cabin, the chassis of the car, through that back into the cabin, under the carpet, across this under the dash, back to the main control, and you got to do that for all 4 doors. So this one communicate through Bluetooth, so there's no wire that's going between doors. So the handle goes directly to its own controller and then wirelessly to the main control, which is under the passenger right hand side under the dash. So installation should be pretty straightforward, hopefully. But before we get right into it, let's just take a look at the components. So as I mentioned, there will be multiple control boxes, and so all these wires, this one is going to be the one that goes to the main CAN bus that is underneath the passenger right hand side under the dash. And then these one connects from the handle to each of the control box. So we got a bunch of these guys, total of 4 or 5 for each door and the main one. So I believe this one is the main one because it's got a different connector right there. So, and then just the door handle itself, so pretty straightforward. And it's got these shims too. Remember these shims, if your door auto present on its own without, or when it's not supposed to, you gotta add these, because this is where the sensor is, so you gotta space it out if it's not working properly. So a couple zip ties and that's it, and a user manual or a warranty card. So let's get right into it. Alright, here are some tools that you're gonna need. A Torx 30 bit to remove the door panel, 13mm socket for the nut that holds the OEM door handle, or a wrench, some kind of a pick tool or pry tool, a 8mm to remove the back panel on the door. I think that's it. If I miss anything, I'll be sure to mention it as I move along. So let's get stuff removing. There's no particular order, but I'm gonna start on the front passenger door just because I'm already on this side. Also because the main control will be connected to the blue connector behind this panel. So I'm gonna also be removing all these trims as I go. So like the Model 3, there will be 3 Torx 30 bolt that you have to remove in order to remove the door panel. One's gonna be right here, just behind this door opening closing button. One's gonna be right on the bottom right here, and then the third one, you gotta pop this guy right here. Behind here there should be the third Torx 30 bolt, so remove this guy. So you pop this out and you should see the Torx 30 bolt right there. Again, Torx 30, okay. Alright, so all 3 bolts are out. I should be able to, oh, you know what, you gotta remove the speaker too. Just pull up, maybe use the pry tool. There you go. So with this holding it on, and then at the bottom, so you gotta squeeze the bottom and then slide it up so it goes through the slot, and then disconnect this guy right here. Should pull right out. There you go. So just pull that out.
Set this aside. And now if we just pop the door panel all the way around.
And I should be able to lift up and away. And the door panel is now separated, although connected with a bunch of wiring harness. So on the Model 3, I mentioned you could disconnect all these so you have more room to work with, or you can leave it attached. That's up to you. If you do disconnect, I'm going to bring the camera in and show you what you have to disconnect. So if you do want to spend the time and disconnect all these cables so you could have the door panel completely off of the car, so you have more room to work on the back of the door, you would have to disconnect this pull cable. You just lift this up. There you go. Lift it up, swing it around, and then pull it right off. So it's like that. You want to pull it up, swing it around. So one cable is out. Alright, so disconnect the blue connector. Use the pry tool to pull these taps. Actually, before you disconnect any of the connectors on the door panel, you might want to make sure that your window is up to the position where you could have the bolt that's holding the window aligned with these holes, because we are going to be removing the window for this installation. If we don't remove the windows, we can't get access to the door handle. So I don't know if you can see, but the hole bolt is not currently aligned. You should see the 13mm bolt that is holding the window. So we need to do some trick to get that bolt up to align with this hole. So what I'm gonna do is make sure my window is all the way up. Because of the safety feature, when the door is open, the door has to lower before it clears the trim on the car. So when the door is open, it's technically not all the way up. So I'm gonna trick the car to make it think that the door is currently closed, so the window will go all the way up by, you can stick a screwdriver or some sort. I'm gonna use this Torx bit to push this latch so it latches. See how the window just go up?
Latches.
So I'm gonna bring the camera closer. Right there. It's now aligned. Now we can disconnect everything else on the back of the door panel. So I've already disconnected this guy, and I use a pry tool to remove that. Now I'm going to remove this connector. There you go. And for the speaker cable, again I'm going to use the pry tool just to unclip this guy, and right there. Also got to pop the footlight off or disconnect it. There you go. Now the door panel is completely off. Now we have room to access and remove all these 8mm bolts. So I have a 8mm socket on a screw gun. I think I got it all. So here's another one of those 13mm that's holding the window. Alright, before I remove the 13mm, I think I remember I have to pull this rubber seal off as well. I remember I tried not to, and it just wasn't worth it. It's just better if I do, because it's sort of in the way for the window to come out. So you just pull and peel. I'll show you in a bit. So if it came off like that, so just shove it right back in after. So just make sure you use the pry tool so you don't have to go through what I just did. It's just easier. And then this guy should lift right up. Yep. And we also have to mark the location of the window, because when you remove the two 13mm bolt, when you put it back, you want to make sure that the window is perfectly aligned. Otherwise, you're going to have some small issue closing your door or getting a perfect seal in general. So to help, we're going to be putting tapes like so. So we remember the alignment of the window. So we'll mark two places, and we'll try our best to align the height as well. Not just horizontal, but we want to mark the left and right as well. Grab a marker real quick. So I'm just breaking off the tape so it's two different pieces. One stays on the window, one stay on the door panel. So just a little more marking. Now we can remove the window. I know it sounds scary, but trust me, it's not too bad. It's just two bolts. It slides right out, slides right back in. So 13mm. So it's actually a little bit too high. Okay, so it wasn't a 13mm. It's actually a 10. Good luck finding your 10mm, but here we go. I actually have it slightly too high, so before you disconnect your cable, make sure you move your window up and down so this is perfectly aligned. Mine is just a little too high, but so I'm gonna hold this just in case. Now I have it lower. You could see, I could get the bowl out. This should be good now. So this 10mm out. This 10mm does not have to come out. The window should slide right out, just like that. So this side has this loop. That's why you have to remove the bolt completely. This one doesn't. It just kind of sandwich it. So set this aside in a safe spot. All right, now I think I can remove these. Just pull. Or use this guy if you want. Here you go. That should get it going. I almost feel like there's a bolt holding it down. Oh, you know what? So the Model Y, this back panel here comes out with the window regulator, the whole railing and stuff. So the railing that's bolted to the door skin needs to be removed as well. So it's a shorter 10mm bolt, so don't get it mixed up with the one that's holding the window. There you go. Now this panel should come off. So this is the window rail that is attached to the regulator and the motor. So slide this. I don't think you need to remove this entirely. We just need access to the back here, which is what's holding the factory door handle. So let me zoom in for you. So I have my lights shining from the top. You got one nut, another one right there, and there should be another one up at the top. I'll try to access through this hole as well as from the top. I remember I do have to remove this connector to gain access to that bolt, so I might have to do that as well. You just pull that red clip down and then pull the connector out. There you go. All the bolts are out, so I think I should be able to, oh, let's not do that. So it comes out from the bottom or from the inside. So here it is. So we got our nut number 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, and 3. So remember, we have to disconnect this in order to have access to this guy. So let's take a look at the factory one next to the Pimp My EV Auto Percent door handles. It says OTA. I have no idea what that means. There is Chinese wording, which I do understand. I believe it says something to do with color. Not best at my Chinese, but something to do with color. So I don't know what I'm getting. This might mean that this is RGB. Actually, here it says RH. So this is right hand side outside door handle assembly, revision 1, 2023, August 18. So this is recent. This is one of the newest product. This one also says right hand. So as long as it's right hand, there's no front seat or back seat. So mounting location, everything's just the same. So let's swap the sensor over. We do have to swap the sensor onto the new door handle. So let's do that, and then while I'm at it, I will be adding one of this guy, the shims, just in case. It says you may not need it, but I don't think it hurts to have it. So let's swap that out. Alright, so it is a Torx 20 bit. So let's swap this guy out. So far it's taking me about 45 minutes with some struggle because I haven't done this in a while. Assuming that you are watching my video just before you do the install or watching it while you're doing your install, should go a lot smoother. Plus you guys are not filming. Harness. Nope. Miss no. Good girl. Go bite something else. Make sure your supervisor's not biting your wiring harnesses. There's something that has to do with the magnetic sensing. So I have no idea what I'm talking about, but just do it. Alright, so let's just put the screw right back in and we're good. Okay, so off camera I already looked at these control boxes. They do not indicate which one goes to which. The only difference is there is the this guy, which is the main one. It does say main in Chinese, and so just make sure the one that connects to the door handle itself is not the main one. And it says 6.0, it says Tesla 3 and Y MX9150 is the model. So should be just plug and play, and it does have double-sided tape. So I'm assuming you need to securely put this guy somewhere on the inside of the door. And from my experience, if I remember correctly, just make sure the wire is not going to be dangling where when the window goes up and down, it's going to interfere with the window. So you want to maybe run it on the side, or if it does have to go underneath the window, make sure it's long enough slack so when it's all the way down it doesn't hit it, and also when it goes all the way up it doesn't interfere it. So again, wiring harness with the blue connector is not the one that goes between the handle to the box. This one is for the main control only. So we want to grab this guy instead. The connectors should be pretty straightforward, plug and play. They each are different sizes, so there's 2 pins, 4 pins, and a whole lot of pins, so can't go wrong. Just plug and play, follow the connectors. I'm gonna connect this guy first, and then get the door handle installed, and then find somewhere to mount this guy. So I do have a question for you, Mr. Pimp My EV. It says OTA on this door handle, and OTA doesn't really mean anything to me, but I do happen to read the Chinese word that says color, so I'm assuming this is a RGB kit.
Yes, indeed, it is RGB. There's like multiple colors, so you can choose whatever color. You can configure the colors one by one, and the different modes as well. So there's an RGB flowing mode. I think there's like, it flows different colors all around RGB. It's pretty awesome. You're gonna check it out. You're gonna like it.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. All right, thanks.
Awesome. All right, good luck.
Uh-huh.
Cheers.
All right, so I just spoke with the owner of Pimp My EV because I was running into an issue because this connector has 8 pins and this sensor is only a 4 pin, so they don't connect. So turns out this is supposed to go onto the door latch connector that gives power to this guy. So the OEM connector will just go right into here, no change. But we get power from the door latch instead. So I'm gonna bring you guys in so you guys can see where that connector is. Alright, so aftermarket harness goes on the OEM plug. It clips. Push this tap in, and then this guy go right back into where the door latch. There you go. And then the other end of this just connects to, will go right on to here. And again, I'm gonna be finding a place to security mount this guy. And then the other end of this harness has 2 more connection. These are for the RGB lights connection on the door handle itself. So just like that. There you go. Like that. Alright, so just I'm gonna put this guy back on the door, get this thing mounted on the inside, and run my cable so it doesn't interfere with the window, and we should be good. Oh, and don't forget to plug this guy back in from the OEM wiring harness. So I'm gonna just put the 3 nuts back on off camera. They were these guys, right? And then I'll get back to you guys. So this hole actually gives you access to the very top nut, this guy right here. So from this hole you can reach it from here. And also remember to not plug in the connector to the door handle before you put the second nut that we removed, because if you put the connector back on first, it's gonna be in the way for your socket to reach. So now with everything bolted back in and connected, I'm ready to tuck my control box somewhere safe. And I think I found a pretty good spot there. I don't know if you guys can see, but far corner right here, right there. There's that little cavity where I think I'm gonna put the box just right there, and I'm gonna clean it off. Use double-sided tape to secure the box just there. I'm gonna show you the final location of it after I tape it on. Alright, so the box is hidden right there. So now what I can do is put this guy back on where it should be, and then put the windows back, and then I will start putting together the main control, get it connected. So then we should be able to test and see if this door handle works. So remember, I marked the window before I had to lower it because the bolt was just slightly too high. So I'm not seeing the horizontal line that I drew because it's actually lower than where it should be. So if I lift this, so you can see the line just appears. But because I lowered it after, so you might want to draw that line again if you do have to readjust the height of the window like I did. I didn't, so hopefully it aligns. If not, it's not too bad. All I have to do is pop out the door panel to realign it. So start installing the main control box, which is this guy right here, so I can at least test the functional of the door handle as well as move the window up and down before I put everything back in. So I thought I was recording, but apparently not. So I just used pry tool to pop this guy out. Once that guy's out, this one was right there like this or like that. So you just pull it and it comes right off. And then I start peeling back this guy. So there was another clip here, so I used my pry tool, pull that off, and then you just peel back and this whole thing comes out. And I just saw the blue connector, so I'm gonna bring you guys in so you can see where the blue connector is. On my old Model 3, it's a 2018, it didn't have this blue connector, so if you want to find out how I connect that, go watch that video. I had a different solution to connect this connector. It's just a one wire connector to it, so I believe I spliced into one of the wire. Thanks to Larry Lee who provided that information to me. But since we have the blue connector, and if you're installing on a Model Y, you should have that. Alright, so blue connector to the blue open socket right there, and then white connector goes directly into the box. And there is also this long cable that has two wires, one for ground and one for your positive 12 volt connection. You could run this through behind the carpet in your footwell area on the passenger side and through the firewall and into the battery, the 12 volt battery in the front, which is what most people would probably do. And if you want to find out how you do that, you could watch my air suspension install for, I believe for the Model Y install for the air suspension. I talked about how I ran wire through that hole, that grommet, into the front. But for me, because luckily I have air suspension on this car, so I already have a power source which is actually on the back of the center console, just below the air vent. I'm going to show you where that is. You can also get power from there. So I'm going to bring you guys to the back seat and show you where to connect your power and your ground. So we're at the back seat here, just below the air vent. So there's this guy right here. You don't have this because this is my solid state relay for my air suspension, but what we have is a active 12 volt, constant 12 volt, a ground. If I could pop this cover. Alright, so there is a thick blue wire which you can see that Posi-tap is connected to. That gives you constant 12 volt. So you could tap that into, so that positive connection, the red wire, you could connect this guy right here. This guy right here, you could connect that to the blue thick wire, and then the black wire, which is just ground, this guy, can't focus. You basically just go, let me show you, on the side right there, any metal or you could bolt down to, there's a bolt right there from the factory. You could bolt that down for your ground. So black wire goes to ground, and then red wire goes to that thick blue wire right there. I'm just gonna do this off camera because your configuration is different than mine anyways. Just make sure that you have red wire goes to blue thick wire, and then black goes to ground. Alright, so I just got power hooked up and supervisor approved my work, and now I'm here to test the door handle. This is the only door handle I've finished installing so far. The rest should be pretty easy. I have already done the hard part and figured out everything that I need to do, so the rest should be another hopefully 30 minutes per door. So obviously I'm already close by to the door, so it's not auto presenting, but I could make it present its own. There you go. So RGB auto presented and looking good. So I'm gonna put the door panel back on and make sure the window goes up and down without catching to anything, and make sure that the window is aligned, it closes properly, it seals on all edges properly, and move on to the rest of the installation. After you finish your install, do not, I repeat, do not just slam the door. In case you were going to, you're about to, the window currently is at its highest position. So if you were to slam the door, the window is going to smash right into the trim, because it should normally automatically retract a little bit when the door is unlocked or open. So because we manually tricked it, so we need to probably, let's see, push the lock button. There you go. You see how it just went down? So now we could close the window or the door. Alright, and just to make sure all the way around seals nicely. This gap right here is not misaligned. Everything looks good. And if you need, you can make adjustment. But installation for this door is done. There you have it. The rest is just repeated on each door. If I do find anything that's different, I'm gonna document it and show you guys. Alright, so I am working on the passenger rear door. So far pretty much everything's the same. This rubber seal, I did only remove one side. So instead of like the front, you only have to pop these guys out. On one side, you do have to pop both if you want to remove the whole thing. I think this is good enough. I already have the glass removed, so that means it's okay. Again, mark down where the alignment of the window. The 10mm is on here and here instead. So this is for the whole railing, the 2 metal channel. The window goes up and down. That's bolted to the frame. So to remove that is here and here. To get to the window, 10mm is here and here. So here and here. And yeah, so far everything's the same. I already got the 8mm bolts removed and about to pop this open, unscrew these two, and so I can get to the back of this. Alright, so to remove the factory handle, remember that there's 3 screws or 3 nuts. So one, you just go from here, actually both of them, including unplugging the harness, the connector. You do it from this hole right here. And then the third one, the one that's at the top. So what I did was use a long extension and go through this hole. Alright, I got my light. So from this hole, you can see you have a clear access to the third nut right there. You just need a long enough extension. I just use this guy right here. It's not really that long, but it did the job.
Alright, so now that we have everything installed, so let's go over some of the features. So by default, when I first had it installed, the door handle present with the RGB rainbow color pattern. So to change it, you press and hold the right stalk on this button. You press and hold and you'll hear a beep. Alright, so now if you look over to the window, it's going to present. Now it's in a streaming RGB color. So if I press and hold again, you hear another beep. Now the door handle is just solid red. So this is how you cycle through different colors. Also on the phone. So for this door handle, it has its own Bluetooth. So you would have to connect to Bluetooth. So you'll find that from your phone, your smartphone, go to Bluetooth and you'll see a new device called Tesla Shunt, whatever that's called. Alright, so to connect to this Tesla Shunt, what you have to do is tap on it, and then the password would be 888-888. So 68 is the password, and then you pair. That way, when you walk up to the car, the phone will recognize a new your previous connected Bluetooth device. Then it will auto present the door. So it kind of works differently than how I have my Model 3. My Model 3 does not have to connect to Bluetooth like this. It goes with my Tesla app, and when I'm close to the car, it auto presents, so I don't have to connect to anything. So it's a little bit different, but the trade-off is you don't have to run all this wire for your installation. So And also for me, because I have both Tesla Model Y and Tesla Model 3, and they both have the auto present doors handles now, I noticed that when I'm in the garage with both cars parked next to each other, only one or the other one would work. So if I walk past one car, if the Model 3 handles present, then the Model Y handles won't come out, vice versa. So that's a problem not everybody's gonna have. So if you're in the same situation, this is the reason why it's not working. I think your phone can only sync with one car at a time. So, but anyways, this is the installation and how everything functions. And if you're interested in this product, I'll leave a link in the description to Pimp My EV's website. So thanks again for watching and happy holidays. Bye.